Yizzo, you already know what time it is, man. It's your boy, Grown Man Business. And listen, you can tap in, you can tap out. But you know my slogan. You know what I suggest? I suggest you tap in, so let's get right into it. Now listen, listen. Salute to everybody that's gonna come in the building. Salute to everybody that's gonna rewatch this later on. You feel me? Matter of fact, ride with me. Uh, salute to everybody that's gonna tap in. Salute to everybody that's gonna be in the comments, doing their thing. I think I'm gonna sit right here with my dog. You know, my man, he rock with me. And let's rock out, man. So y'all see the title. Salute to everybody that was in the live chat last night. I got a lot of people in the DMs. I got a lot of people tapping in about the live chat. And like last night, I was just real hype, you know what I mean? And it's like that sometimes, you know, it's going to always be different energies, different frequencies. And last night, I was just really turned up. You feel me? I was really turned up. I was really on one. Because, you know, that whole situation just is what it is, and it'll be what it's going to be. Tonight, you know, my dog, he tell me to keep it a little calm, you know what I'm saying? So I'm going to keep it a little calm, you know what I mean? You already know what we doing outside. Salute. Probably gonna hop in the jacuzzi in an hour or so. But yeah, man. Marquise, 50 Cent's son. You know, he's responded. He said that he wants to sit down with his dad. He would like to have a conversation with his pops. And you know, if you ask me, I thought that was fire. Hold on, cause I got these video games on. Let me cut this video game off. Y'all see this? Shit making all this damn noise. Good shit. And I thought that was fire. I thought that it was very it was very much grown man business, you know, grown man business for Marquise to finally come to the grips and come to the conclusion that he wants to have a sit down with his pops. And if you saw the video, if you saw the response, you could hear the humbleness in his voice. You can hear that he swallowed his pride and he put his pride aside and he reached out. He's calling out for his dad. He really want to have a talk with 50 Cent. And, you know, that prompted me to speak on this. And then another thing from, you know, earlier, I actually, a channel came across my channel, I guess being as though this is Grown Man Business TV. There was a channel by the name of Grown Woman Vibes. I've never seen this channel before. I've never heard of this young lady. But when I saw the title, I was like, okay, Grown Woman Vibes, you know, grown man business. We influence the nation. We influence the masses. A lot of people are influenced by this grown man business if they want to admit it or not. So I tapped into the Grown Woman Vibes channel. And, you know, I listened in and I got to say, at first I thought that I was feeling the information. I thought that I was feeling what the young lady was saying, but it became very toxic. It became very toxic very fast when talking about 50 Cent, his baby mom, and his son. And that again prompted me to speak on this because this young lady was speaking from a female's perspective. She was speaking from a woman's perspective. And we all know that women are emotional. Most 99.9% of women are not logical, right? I'm not going to say all women because you have a few exceptions, but most women, the majority, they move with emotion. They don't think logically. You understand? And when I was listening to this young lady talk, man, I just, you know, I wasn't salute. I was turned off and I was like, dang, you know, I definitely had to give a grown man business perspective on it because her perspective was totally out of whack. Now, you know, again, he wants to talk to his pops. He's at a point in his life where he wants to sit down and he wants to have a conversation with his dad. And I want to kind of give y'all a breakdown on how this happens from a male perspective. And it's a lot of men in America and it's a lot of men throughout this world, globally, worldwide, that go through this. So, and it's not just men. I'm actually going to say that some women go through this as well. Women go through this as well, right? So you have two people, they have a baby and they don't stay together. They were never meant to be together. And now was a child involved, right? And let's just say it from a male perspective for right now. You grow up, you're 5, 6, 7 years old, and you're living with your mom. Now, a lot of the times women don't understand that a man wants, or a man don't mind taking the child. You know, the dad doesn't mind taking the child, but a lot of the times the mother will not let the child, you know, mothers are not going to let their kids just leave them. Not good mothers, right? And for the court to give you the child, the mother has to be unfit. She has to be determined unfit. You understand me? So a lot of the times, if you're not with the baby mother, the child is going to remain with the mom. Let's get that out the way right there. So it's no men is just really leaving the baby with the mom. The court system and the way society is set up, that's how it's going to fall if we don't stay together. So when you're 5, 6, 7, you know, your mom is feeding you. Your mom is putting your clothes on you. You living with your mama. So to the naked eye, you just believe that your mom is the reason why you're eating. Your mom is the reason why you got clothes on your back. And your mom is the reason you got a roof over your head. Because when you're a child, you can't really, your mind's not mature enough to really look through the smoke and mirrors. Whoever is giving you the food, whoever's providing from the naked eye, that's who you're going to respect the most. And a lot of the times it's your mother that's making your plates at night. It's your mother, you know, getting you dressed for school in the morning. So when you're 5, 6, 7, 8, even 9, you know, it's easy for the mother to manipulate the baby. You know, I'm feeding you, so my word is what it is. I'm dressing you, so you're going to side with me in my ideology and the things that I believe in. You understand what I'm saying? And then what happens, especially for men, this always, and I want women with sons out there to really take heed to this, right? So then you go from 9, you go from 10 to 11, 12, 13. At this time, young men, we start to looking around. We start noticing things. We start asking certain questions. Now, still at, 13, your mom is still feeding you. She's still the one cooking your dinner at night. She's still the one buying you your Jordans from what you can see and sending you off to school every day. So you're going to have the utmost respect for your mother, right? You're going to have the utmost respect. In all those years, you've been indoctrinated. This is what happened to 50 Cent's son. All those years you hear your mom talking about child support and how your dad ain't this and your dad ain't that. And all these years you siding with your mom because she is feeding you. And I want women to understand that. Like, the kid loves, you're going to have a natural love for your mom. But most kids are going to side with who they think is feeding them, who they think is nurturing them. You know what I'm saying? And, you go from 13 to 18. By the time a young man turns 18 years old, he has now began to see women for how they and what they are a lot of the times. Now, when you turn 18 as a man, and I can speak for a lot of men, now you're starting to understand why certain things turn out, why they turn out. You're dealing with your little girlfriends. You're starting to understand, like, I can see now maybe how my dad left. I can see now maybe how things went array between my mom and my dad, because you begin to see the world for what it is, right? After 18, you can now start detecting all the manipulation you went through in your life. Once you hit 25, you're a full-grown man. You can now see clearly that your mother has a lot of flaws. The flaws that you couldn't see in your mother when you was a child, at 25, you can see now. And a lot of the times, men and women, by that age, they start looking for their father. They really want to hear their father's side of the story. And I think a lot of women don't take heed to this. A lot of women don't take heed to this, and they're actually scared of this part of the process, because now a lot of the things that you said back in the day, a lot of the manipulation that you applied back in the day, a lot of the things that you did back in the day, you're going to have to answer for. You understand me? So, a lot of us go through it. I've went through it. You know what I'm saying? Growing up with your mom and your pops not together, and, you siding with your mom when you're young, and you think that your mom is always right. And then you get older and you start realizing, like, man, maybe my pops wasn't that. Maybe my pops wasn't crazy. Maybe my pops didn't just leave me because he didn't love me. Maybe the circumstances, because you now having arguments with your girlfriends. You having these wild arguments with your girlfriends, and most men, because most men, when they look for women, they're looking for certain attributes and certain traits that they had in their mama. Certain qualities that they mama had growing up, they find in their first 4 or 5 girlfriends. And that's what the young lady from Grown Woman Vibes, that's what she wasn't understanding. She was trying to say that, what the son is the way he is because his dad wasn't there. And I was trying to explain to her that, do you think that the female has to take any accountability in this? Like 50 Cent's son is not like 50 Cent. He actually acts like his mama. So does his mama have any accountability in his actions and his behavior and his feminine ways at today? And the young lady said, no. She put all the accountability on 50 Cent, and she applied nothing to the young man's mother. You understand me? So let's get back on track. So, again, you get older and you start seeing traits in your mother that let you know that maybe your dad wasn't so crazy. Maybe your dad wasn't a deadbeat. Maybe your dad had something, he knew something that you didn't know when you was young, but now you starting to find out with the more women you deal with. The more women you deal with and the older you get, you start saying, man, I need to find my father. I want to talk to my pops because now I think I can understand why he left. I think I could understand why he left. And I say all that to say that is where 50 Cent's son is right now. And again, I want to give a big salute to Marquise for, just having enough gumption in his body to say, you know what, right or wrong, I want to have a talk with my dad. I want to have a talk. I might have been wrong, but I was a kid, and I'm sure my mother was wrong, because you can tell now that that's not the same kid that was back in the day. That wasn't the same kid from some years ago. That's not the same Marquise. Salute. Marquise is now seeing things and traits in his mother that he don't agree with. Marquise is now seeing and hearing ideologies from his mother that he don't agree with, from dealing with his girlfriends and now having real dealing with women. And now he's searching for his pops. Now he wants to sit down and have, because the whole time he was being told that $6,500 wasn't enough. Little did y'all know, little did anybody know that before 50 Cent was paying $6,500 a month, which is a lot of money, way more than enough. You could pay $5,000 a month right now in New York and live in Tribeca. High-rise condo, $5,000 a month. And she was getting $6,500 a month back in the day. Little did you know, before that $6,500 a month, 50 Cent was giving his baby mother $25,000 a month. And he did that for so many years. When you accumulate that money, when you do the math, 50 Cent basically gave her like $2.5 million all the way up till Marquise was 13, and he went to file himself for child support. And even still, from 13 to 18, that's another $475,000 that was received in child support payments. Now, hold on, let me give you some more game. That's just the child support payments that he was giving Shorty. He also brought her a home in New Jersey, a house. He also paid and provided the private school that Marquise was privileged to go to his whole life. 50 Cent paid for that. And I'm telling y'all that because, again, when Marquise was a child, your mother's cooking you the food, so you don't know that your dad is paying for that food. Your mother's clothing you, but you don't know that your dad is paying for those clothes. Your mother is housing you, but you don't know that your dad is contributing to the rent. He's paying parts of your rent, parts of your water, your electricity, and he's paying for his own bills. You don't learn these things as a man until you grow up. And that's what a lot of women, even my mother, had to be accountable for. I got to a certain age, I started asking certain questions, and it wasn't adding up. It didn't make sense. And when it deterred me, I reached out to my uncles. I was lucky enough to have some real strong grown man business uncles that helped shape this, that helped shape who I am, right? And my uncle Squirt told me one time, he said, man, I was upset, and I was telling him, and he said, yo, You know, your mother was my sister before she was your mother. I know your mother better than you know your mother, right? And before your mother had you, she was just a female out here, you know what I'm saying, doing whatever she was doing, and she had a wet vagina just like any other female. And it really expanded my mind, and it opened my mind up to women, because I'm looking at my mom as my mom. But before you was my mom, what was you? Before you had me and I became your son, what was you in this world? You understand what I'm saying? So Marquise is at a point that he doesn't agree with that. It's not making sense. All these people are saying, Marquise, $6,700 a month. And then your daddy was paying her $25,000 a month for like 13 years or something like that. 10 years, 14 years. It's not making sense. And now Marquise's mother is having to answer questions. Where did that money go? What was you contributing? If you was getting $25,000 a month, what was you adding to that? Why was you not living a certain way? What happened to that house 50 Cent bought you? What happened to the private school he paid for? And I want to take my time with this, and I want to be very detailed and give context to it, because you know it's a touchy situation, and it's not something that I wanted to get in and start screaming. You know, last night with the Charleston White thing, you know, I'm gonna tap back into Charleston in a few minutes, but it really, you know, that Charleston White thing, I don't like sucker-ish. So that's why I was really hyped with that. But with this situation, I want to articulate myself so that women don't feel like it's a jab at them, and so that people don't take it personal, but it's real life. He wants to have a conversation with his dad because he's understanding that his dad is not as bad as his mom made him out to be. Actually, his dad was right about a lot of things. His dad was right about the sneaker store, the online sneaker store that his mom talked Marquise out of and tried to get a boutique in Atlanta, and the boutique didn't make any money. You understand me? And let's get deeper into this. Let's get deeper into this angle. When you're growing up and you're a child and your mom is feeding you and you're taking side, you had to pick a side and you chose your mom. It's not always for your dad to fight to be in your life, my G. I know it sounds harsh. I know it sounds harsh, but what happens is your mom is manipulating you. Your dad is trying to be in your life. Let me give you an example. 50 Cent said that he ran into Marquise years ago at a jewelry store. Marquise was in the jewelry store trying to trade in 2 chains for 1 big chain. 50 Cent said he walked into the store, he saw Marquise, he got excited to see his son. You know, 50 Cent knows the owner of the store. Whatever you want, you'll be able to get because of his relationship with the store owner. He said he walked up to Marquise and he spoke to him and he tried to have a conversation with him, and Marquise left out of the building, walked out on him. 50 Cent said some of his entourage chased Marquise down and said, yo, your dad's trying to talk to you. Why are you treating him like this? You understand what I'm saying? And 50 Cent said that he had to stop, regain his composure, gather his thoughts, because it upset him so bad and it stressed him out so bad that he almost lost his composure. He had to regain that, and then he had to handle his business that he came into the store with. And I'm using that to innuendo me and segue me to that angle. You know, women expect men to you know, I don't know, like push mountains over to be in these kids' lives. You understand what I'm saying? Women want you to take all the abuse, take all the trauma and the abuse that come with trying to be in somebody's life that don't want you in their life because they've been lied to for so long. So 50 Cent been trying to be in his son's life. He been providing for this boy. He been, you know, doing what grown men are supposed to do, what real fathers are supposed to do. But it gets to the point where you have to think about your own health. You have to think about yourself. You have to think about your other children. You know what I'm saying? Not all, and again, sweetie, listen, it's never all women. You know, and I like to, I always like to make sure I throw that in there. I might have, you know, forgot that right there, but it's never all anything. It's always exceptions to the rules. So I'm not talking about all women, but I'm talking about women that can fit these shoes that I'm talking about. So if the shoe is going to fit, then you need to wear it. If it don't fit, don't even worry about it. Just like Johnny Cochran said, if it don't fit, it must have quit. Don't even trip. You feel me? Um, but women, most women, they really think that a man is supposed to force himself into your life. And that's not how it works. As a man, you have a purpose. You have a child, and your child is not the only purpose. Your child is not the only one that needs to be poured into. So 50 Cent did just like a lot of other men do. Now let me give you this game. 50 Cent went and found another woman, had a whole nother son with this woman, and has showed the world how much he's in this little boy's life. Now, this other baby mama, she ain't putting 50 Cent through the ringer. She ain't trying to get $25,000 a month out of 50 Cent. She not calling him a deadbeat. She not degrading his name. She not talking down on him. She letting him be a father. She's not letting him, matter of fact, she's allowing her son to engage in the fatherhood that he deserves. Let me say that. She's not letting 50 Cent be a father. She's allowing her son, because she can only allow her son. She only has control of her kid. She's allowing her son to engage in the fatherhood that he deserves with the man that fathered him. And if you look at that little boy that 50 Cent has, he loves his dad. If you know, 50 Cent is at all the birthday parties. 50 Cent, he's all over his social media. He's going to be a well put together young man due to the knowledge and the power that 50 Cent has poured into him. But most women, not all, but most women think that just because you have a baby with them, that you are supposed to only pour into that baby and you're supposed to push mountains over. No, I'm sorry to tell you, ladies, that is not how it works. So what happens is we're going to try our hardest to be in your life. We're going to have joint custody. We're going to provide for you. But if you don't want us to be in your life, then we should back up like 50 Cent did and, you know, be in the other kids' life that want us in their life. And let you grow up, mature, stand on all 10 toes, become a man, and then as an adult, you can choose to have the man in your life or not. And you see what's happening. This young man has now become an adult, and he's making the choice to want his father in his life. And I hope 50 hears did it, man. I hope this can fall off from, you know, on Marquise's ears, because he's not the only one, my man. You're not alone in this. You understand? I look at Marquise and I feel empathy for him, and I feel sympathy, and I kind of feel bad for him because, you know, his mother manipulated him for so long that it might be too late. It might be too late. So what most men do is say, okay, this kid is his mother's child. He doesn't want me in his life. His mother only wants money from me, and if I'm not providing whatever she feels she deserves, then I'm a deadbeat dad. I'm gonna back up. I'm gonna pour this love into the young man and my other son and my other daughters that love me and want this love poured into them, and I'm gonna make them better people. Yeah. So you'll have, in a lot of situations, you'll have this one child, man. A lot of the times it's like the middle child that doesn't have the dad's last name. You know that kid. You know the one child out the bunch that has the mother's last name. That one child that doesn't have their daddy's last name, right? And this child will hate their father. But the other 4 siblings in the other family that he created, they'll kill for their father. They'll die for their father. And they don't, and a lot of the times they don't rock with that one sibling, you know, not because they don't love him, but because of how they treat their father. I speak from experience, my G. I don't hop on this. And again, that's why I was really like a little bit flabbergasted with the CW situation in Charleston. We're going to get into that. But I don't hop on this YouTube for clout. I don't hop on this YouTube for money. I don't hop on this YouTube and spew information that I might not have never had nothing to do with. You understand me? This is full-on experience. I have 3 kids. I have 2 daughters. I have 1 son. I have 2 kids that have my last name. I have 1 daughter that don't have my last name. Ask me how the relationship has been over the years with that child, with my youngest daughter. Ask me how that relationship has been over the years with their mother, with her mother. You know, child support, you know, being drugged through the ringer. And then, you know, I'm starting to see the break in the light for my youngest daughter starting to realize things. And now she's calling me and she's saying, hey, Dad, and we're having these conversations. And I'm showing her receipts. You know, she says, Dad, why can't I get this? And I show her, yo, look all this money I'm paying your mom every month. There's no way you shouldn't have Jordans. There's no reason you shouldn't have everything you want. So in due time, you're going to have this and I tell my daughter this, in due time, you're going to have this conversation with your mother. Your oldest sister, her last name starts with a B. She has my last name. My son, he's the fourth. He's E4. You understand me? And the only problem I have is with my youngest daughter, my middle child. And this is no disrespect to her mother or anything like that, but it's just a game that need to be given out. This is real life situations. These things happen all the time. And the men get blamed all the years. The first 18 years, the man gets called a deadbeat. And the man gets drugged through the ringer. Y'all, women wouldn't understand the trauma that comes from being called a deadbeat over and over again, even though you love your kids so much. And you get up every day and try to provide for these kids and for your babies. Women don't understand because nobody cares about men's feelings. Nobody has once asked, how has this affected 50 Cent? Nobody has asked one time, how has this affected 50 Cent? When you see 50 Cent lashing out on Instagram, when you see 50 Cent attacking people at the drop of the dime, you got to know that a lot of that comes from the situation with his baby mama and his first son turning his back on him. You know, that's another reason why Grown Man Business was created. That's why another reason why I came with this is because I want to speak for the real. Now, listen. I always say it's not all men. It's not all anything. So it's a lot of men that have baby mamas and they have baby mama drama, and this don't apply to you. You understand? You haven't been providing for your kids. You don't have a place for your kids to go. You don't stand on morals and principles and family, my G. You sleeping on your other baby mama couch. You sleeping at your mama house. You don't have a stable. This is not for you. What I'm talking about right here. So any man that's gonna try to use this against a female or try to use this as leverage, you know, make sure your credentials is right. You know, I like to do this. It is what it is. But make sure your credentials is right, my G. Make sure your credentials is where it need to be before you think that you're going to use Grown Man Business TV as leverage for not taking care of your kids, for not being the man that you're supposed to be. You know, with my youngest daughter, just like 50 Cent, you know, I heard an interview where 50 said that he was telling his baby mom, listen, if it's too hard for you to take care of Marquise, give him to me. I'll get this child support cut off and he can live with me and you can go make a life for yourself. You don't have to worry now about taking care of a child and being a single mother because women make it so hard, like it's so hard to be a single mother out here, right? And do you think that Marquise's mother let Marquise go with his father? No. She held on to Marquise so she could receive that check. Same thing with my youngest daughter. I got so tired of having the conversation about money. I got so sick of it that I said, you know what? Listen. I know it's hard for you. My house is bigger than yours. I got more rooms in my house than you got in yours. I got more space in my house. I got a fucking fortress over here. Give me my daughter. I have joint custody of my youngest daughter. Literally, I have joint custody. I said, listen, give me my daughter. But you know, when you give me her, and I register her for school, you're not going to get child support checks anymore, but you won't have to take care of her every day like the things that you're complaining about. Do you think that she was like, okay, that I love how that sounds. Let me let her come live with you for 12 months or 2 years, and then she could come back with me? No. She actually got so upset when I told her to let my daughter come live with me. She called my mom. And then my mom called me like, why would you say this? And I'm thinking like, I'm a man. If you can't handle it, give me my child. I'm not going to take you out for child support. I don't need anything from you. My wife is A1. So, she's under good surveillance. She's under good supervision. Yeah, let her come stay with daddy. You know what I'm saying? And she didn't want that. That's when I realized what it was really about. That's when I realized that, let me back up a little bit so that I could keep my sanity, so that I could be a great father to my other children that love me. So I could be a great family man. So I can still build up legendary people and send them out into this world. Your child ain't the only child that matters, my G. See, that's what some women don't understand. Your child ain't the only child that matters. It's other kids in this. It's other people that need to be poured into when you dealing with a real man. I got a sister, I got nieces, I got nephews, I got a mother. RIP to my grandma. I got women all around me that need me, that pull on me because I'm such a strong man. They yearn for me. They say, daddy this and son that and brother this, and I'm there for them. Your child is not the only child. So Marquise's mom thought that her child was the end all be all. And then what we do is we go out and we find real women and we have families with them. And then your child is the one missing out. Your child is the one lacking. Your child, you understand what I'm saying? So I had to address this, and I really wanted to give context and really give y'all some game on that. That it's not really always men. It's the majority. Let me give y'all a statistic. This is a fact. You can Google this. You can find the statistic. Kids do better coming out of single father homes than they do coming out of single mother homes. It's a fact. Most kids that come out of single mother homes become school shooters, drug dealers, gang bangers, inmates. You understand me? Subpar citizens of America. This is a fact. I'm not bashing women. This is an actual fact. Salute to all the single fathers out there. It's a lot of single fathers. Nobody talks about this. There's a lot of men out there that the fiancés passed away at birth. Their fiancés are in jail for scamming. The baby mamas is in jail, and the baby mamas is strung out on drugs. And it's a lot of single fathers out here producing top shelf citizens to this country. It's a fact that children do better coming out of single fathers households than they do out of single mothers households. And the reason for that is because men are more consistent. What do you mean by that, grown man business TV? Don't you ever don't you ever forget the TV. What I mean by that is, your father has been your father the whole. If you grew up with your dad, then your dad's been the same way for your whole life. Women are more inconsistent. They have, menstrual cycles. They have chemical imbalances, and they're emotionally unstable. They don't think with logic. So you never know who you're getting when you're dealing with your mom. One minute she loves you, the next minute she's jealous of you because you've grown strong and beautiful, and now you're looking prettier than your mom. And, over the years, your mom changes. It's an inconsistency. When you deal with your dad, and again, this is a fact. It's just nobody's talking about this. Nobody ever speaks up for us. Nobody speaks up for the men, because traditionally men are just supposed to go to work, provide money, right? If somebody comes in the house, they're supposed to provide protection, right? And then they're supposed to die. And when they die, they're actually supposed to still leave y'all some money with the life insurance policies and shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, when you really break down being a man, it's almost, in today's times, I wouldn't tell my son to lock nothing down. I would tell my son to marry his money, and then you can have your pick of the litter. Marry your money, get filthy rich, and then you can have any woman you want, and as many of them that you want. You can have 4 women that are all, Diddy and Carisha. That's a prime example. You can have a young, beautiful woman on your arm, sucking you off whenever you want to, and she understands that you're going to do whatever you want because your money right. I would not tell my son to be the traditional man that I am. You understand what I'm saying? I was raised, I'm a dinosaur. I was raised in a single parent home, so I always yearned for a family, man. You know, I always wanted a house with a pool in the backyard. You feel me? And I want with my kids and my wife, and I always wanted to be the head of my household because I grew up lacking that. And I went out into the world and I created that for myself. But nobody talks about the damage that comes from this. When I look at 50 Cent, I see damage, bro. When I listen to 50 Cent, bro, I hear trauma, man. You know, you gotta think, man, that little boy looked just like 50 Cent. I ain't never seen such a carbon copy in my life. You know what I mean? And to have that carbon copy, I mean a mirror reflection of yourself manipulated and turned against you, it causes trust issues. It causes so much trauma in us, you know? And for me, it wasn't my son because I just had my son, and you know, he's all me. And I'm full on. But my youngest daughter, my second child, you know, she don't have my last name. You know what I mean? You could feel like that weird thing sometimes. And I'm such a good father that I just play through it and I just push through it, and I make sure I call her and I tap in, and if she needs something, I hit that Cash App. And you know, summers and Christmases and New Year's and all that, she down here with daddy in the Sunshine State chilling under the palm trees. When my daughter comes down here for the summer, I'm still paying child support. I still pay thousands and thousands of dollars in child support for one child. Even if she's with me, I still pay her mother. And you know, it get real because I was you know, I was manipulated just like I feel like 50 Cent's son was to a certain extent. Not fully on like 50 Cent's son, but to a certain extent. So with my trauma, I don't want my child to be manipulated. So when my youngest daughter come down for the summer and she say, "Dad, this, that," and I say, look what I'm paying your mom. Look, I just sent this off to your mom. "Dad, you know, can I da-da-da-da-da?" Look what I just paid your mama. So you expected me to pay your mama this, pay for you down here, pay for your school, pay for everything, and then if I don't do what you know, then still get called a deadbeat or nah. Listen to all the grown men out there that's listening to this that might have had somewhat of a situation like this. Health is wealth, my G. Your health is more important than anything. I know it's hard to take that in, ladies. That a man could say his health is more important than your kid or our kid, but it is. It is. So you know, to all the fellas out there, if it's stressing you out, make sure you taking care of your business. Make sure your kids always got an option to come live with you. Make sure your kids always got an open door whenever they want to come to you. But don't ever let them stress you to death, my G. Don't ever let them kill you. Don't ever let them kill your spirit. And believe it or not, again, that's what I see in 50 Cent. I see for a long time his spirit was broken, bruh. You know, you would see 50 Cent lashing out at people in the industry because his spirit was broken. He was hurting on the inside, paying for all that private school, paying for that house, paying for those cars and all that child support, and still not getting the respect as a father. So, you know, what I want to say is to chop that down, you know, to land this plane, you know, salute the Marquise for becoming a man. You know, one thing I can't say I've ever experienced, I don't know how it feels to be a 50 Cent son. I don't know how it feels to have your life played out before the world. You know, I remember seeing Marquise in the Wanks. I'm a dinosaur, B. I'm an 80s baby. You feel me? I need a haircut. I've been thugging it. But I remember when the Wankster video came out and they was getting that Ja Rule, and it was a big sensation. This is before social media, man, and it was global. You feel me? 50 Cent. And I remember seeing Marquise with the headband on as a little boy, and I remember thinking to myself, like, man, that little boy is so lucky. You just never know what people going through. Because I remember thinking that Marquise is so lucky to be 50 Cent's son. Look, he's in the Wankster video. He all in the Wankster video playing with the Wankster doll. You know, you would almost be envious of that. a little bit. So I want to just say salute to Marquise for becoming a man right before our eyes, B. You've become a man, my G. Now, what you got to understand is you got to get that doctrination that your mama put in your brain out your brain. You got to you got to change everything you thought you knew. You got to rewire everything you was learned. You understand me? And then you got to stand up and take accountability for your actions, young man. You got to stand up. You got to take accountability for your actions on siding with your mama. It is what it is. You got to say, Pop, I was a child. I probably was wrong, but I didn't know I didn't know what was going on. And you got to apologize to your father, man. Apologize to your father for taking pictures with Supreme McGriff's son, bruh. I got uncles that would never, I got uncles that would never forgive me for that. For taking a picture with the son of a man that might have got one of them killed or tried to get one of them killed. Like, that's your mama trait. That's female traits, bro. Like, it's disgusting. Any real man would have known, even as a child, I don't like my pops